Yes guys, what's happening? Lee Jones here from Joner 101. I'm here with your boy Jules from Joner 101 also. We're starting a brand new segment on our YouTube channel. We're going to start doing some analysis, game analysis of some big games in the football world. And what better to start with Liverpool versus Man City. What a great game to start with. Liverpool versus Man City at Anfield. We're going to do game analysis on this, so stick around. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and let us know in the comment section on what you thought of the game. Jules?
Yes.
Just before we jump into the formations and the starting team, what did you make of the game, mate? I know that you watched the full game.
Honestly, I thought it was a great game. It was actually, I thought it met expectations because obviously a lot of hype behind it. I loved it.
Yeah, I tweeted at half time, I was like, where's that 45 minutes gone? Because the speed of play was like ridiculous.
The first 5 minutes, it was so quick.
It was mental, mate. I was like, their fitness levels and athleticism of the players is a joke, because I was like, wow, 45 minutes of it was just so quick.
Yeah, it was mad. I was saying to you before, I feel like, at least in England, but possibly even all of Europe, at the moment, Liverpool and City have set a standard in terms of intensity and quality that not many teams in any league around Europe can match.
What did you think of, do you think Pep and Klopp had a bit of mind games going into this one? I thought there was a little bit of mind games in this one.
I know you've been saying a lot that Pep's talking a lot about Liverpool and stuff.
Rent-free, by the way.
Look, like I said, they're the two teams that are fighting it out for the Premiership, for the Premier League, in my opinion.
Being a massive Liverpool fan, I hate it when people say we've already got one hand on a trophy. There's still so much to go, and with some good teams like Leicester and Chelsea picking up their game.
I'm a big fan of Leicester. Honestly, as an Arsenal fan, they bopped us.
Anyway, Jules, before we go on our thoughts about the game and how Man City set up, how Liverpool set up, what worked for both teams, let's just go through the starting lineup and what we thought the formation that they actually went with, and we'll talk about how City set up off the ball, what they actually tried to do in terms of tactics. This is the starting lineup. This is what it had on the Opta Sport anyway, 4-3-3, but we believe Man City set up a little bit different. Alisson in goal, Trent, Lovren, Van Dijk, Robbo, Fabinho in the holding, Henderson and Wijnaldum midfielders, Bobby up top, Salah, Mane standards front three. We've lost a mannequin for Bravo, which I believe losing Ederson was a key in this game because he's so good with his feet.
Big.
Fernandinho, Stones, very weak at the back there, do you think, Jules?
Yeah, haven't really played much together.
I think that actually played a big factor in the game as well. Walker, Angelino, fullbacks, Rodrigo, Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Sterling, Aguero and Silva. However, Jules, you want to touch on how you think City actually did set up?
Yeah, well, I think City, Guardiola in general, more often than not plays a 4-3-3, but I think it's different how it's set up at the start to how it develops in the game.
Same 100%.
Because even though I'm going to touch a lot on City, I think Liverpool weren't really in this shape for most of the game.
They don't.
But for me, it was more of maybe a 4-2-3-1/4-4-2 for City, with KDB, rather than being that 10 next to Gundogan, was more coming next to Aguero.
Yeah, he was.
And then Gundogan was probably
they were like
a little
flat,
bit more balanced. So you could look, it was more of a 4-4-2/4-2-3-1 if you want, depending on whether they had or didn't have the ball. But a big thing was that KDB, who usually starts here, was a lot more free to roam around Aguero and didn't have that many defensive responsibilities once the ball went beyond him, similar to Aguero.
It's a bit like Liverpool. I watch every single game, guys. Henderson sort of drifts into these roles.
It's a massive one this season. Right?
And that sort of gives Salah the option to go round or on the inside.
But do you not feel like, for me anyway, this year Salah's never here?
Nah, he's not.
Salah's in here.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I mean. But sometimes Hendo will come in and Salah will stay there. It's just a rotation that teams are actually finding it hard to deal with, because it's something that's not, because he got an assist out there.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll touch on it more in detail later, but you'll see where
100%
assist comes from.
And Fab they sort of square up sometimes a lot as well when Hendo goes.
I feel like out of everyone in Liverpool, this guy's probably the only one that maintains his position.
100%.
And obviously Lovren and Van Dijk. That little triangle there stays there a lot. We need probably a little bit more discipline, but the rest, there's a lot of movement, a lot of rotation, which I think has.
That moves on to my next question, Jules.
Yes.
Who do you think were the key players in this game in terms of getting the result, or even before the game even started, really?
I think, let's touch before the game. I'll go through City. You tell us Liverpool. Because you're a big Liverpool fan.
Go on, and you go through City.
Well, for me, naturally, Kevin De Bruyne is a big one for City.
Yeah, set pieces as well.
Yeah, set pieces, his delivery from outright. And Aguero, big stat that came out was that he's never scored at Anfield before. He's pretty much scored at every stadium in England, I think.
Yeah.
For me, at least top 3 of strikers in England.
Easy, yeah.
So, very, very important player. One for me was what's happening along the back line. So, key players, probably all 4 of these.
Yeah.
Plus the keeper. Just mainly, not so much because...
I think Walker's solid.
Yeah, but just because you're such a new backline, especially these two together. For me, I don't feel like Stones is necessarily a starting player
he had a bad game
for Guardiola.
He didn't have a good game.
And then Fernandinho, usually, Guardiola likes him. He had more, but he's the only fit centre back that they have besides Otamendi. But I don't feel like Guardiola trusts Otamendi this
I think that's a key because against that front 3 on
so that's what I mean for me. At least these 3, plus possibly Bravo to an extent, key for what happened in the game.
Yeah.
What about for you, Liverpool?
I think the key players before the game even started was the biggest one for me was Fabinho. The week before, Klopp rested him against Villa because he was on 4 yellow cards, and look how important that's actually turned out for us scoring a goal. And for me, it was hit between him and Lovren, man of the match. Like Lovren actually had an outstanding game, but obviously your key players, your front 3, and I can't leave out the fullbacks. They just offer so much going forward. However, I do feel like Sterling gave Trent a really tough time in this game because City were the dominant team in possession.
But you know what? I actually, because obviously, I remember you actually said something during the week about obviously Trent attacking is unbelievable, his deliveries, his assists, and you said that his weakness is possibly defending, right? But I thought he was okay today against Sterling. Sterling was like wanting to run at him all the time.
Did alright.
He did alright. I didn't think he did too bad.
I think he is improving. That's the only slight thing I say about Trent is his defending. Yeah. But on the ball, he's ridiculous. Yeah. And I think we're going to cover some of his key passes in the game. But yeah, those are the key players for me. I didn't think Henson was going to start. I thought it was going to be Ox.
Oh really?
But obviously, again, Klopp knows best because Hendo had a great game putting that delivery for the goal.
But I think Hendo, precisely because of what you said, the fact that he's doing this so well with Salah, that's not so much because of his midfield play. I feel more because of the work he's doing out wide to allow Salah to actually cheat and come into these areas.
100%. But I also think he's in the team. He starts in the team a lot.
Plus he's a skipper.
Not just that, but when we play teams that are good in possession, I think he's always the first on the team sheet because of how hard he works. Yeah. And his leadership in terms of pulling everyone through because he works so hard. He did get subbed for Milner, which I find it strange when captains get subbed, but again, Klopp knows best. I'm not disagreeing with Klopp. He's the gaffer right now. Anyway, Jules, just before we get into some details, what were your thoughts on the game in terms of like what do you think Liverpool's key tactics were, and what do you think Man City's, etc. And then obviously I'll go through mine.
With Man City, obviously, I think 9 times out of 10, you know what you're going to get with Guardiola. A team that wants to dominate possession, that wants to really move the opposition around and find those little gaps in the areas for little cutbacks. I think that's been the bread and butter, especially the last 2 seasons. One thing that I noticed that City did different today compared to probably other weeks is they were actually attacking a lot quicker than usual. It wasn't as controlled, so they actually wanted to go really, really quickly at Liverpool, especially I'm assuming maybe to catch Trent and Robbo out a little bit. But in turn, I think Liverpool were a little bit mindful of that, and as you see, they look to play a little bit on the counter today, maybe more than usual. They maybe accepted that if they wanted to play a possession game against City, they were going to maybe lose out a little bit. City, for me, are the best
100%
at
in that world,
But one thing that I don't think any team can match Liverpool at is their intensity and their ability to attack within 2-3 passes when they win it.
I think obviously you're a massive Liverpool fan, watch every single game. I think the difference in Liverpool between last year and this year is that we can mix up our games so well. Like we can be a team that is dominant in possession, but obviously Klopp's looked at it and thought we're not going to do City in possession because they're one of the if not the best in the world. So we set for the counter, I think, in this game, and it worked really well because I think definitely the second goal with Salah, even the first goal. The first goal, it was more of a case of City switching off, which we'll talk about. But the first 2 goals were counter-attack goals. And we were talking about, which we're going to talk about, like, he must play about between 10 and 15 diagonal passes a game.
Yeah, so
it's ridiculous.
On his right.
I'm just saying though, but you would think someone like Guardiola would have set up for that and been like, he likes to do that. We're going to touch on the Salah goal.
But I feel like if we are correct and people accept that they set up in a 4-4-2, to an extent, he was trying to play against that, because obviously you're keeping Walker and Silva against Mane and Robbo, Angelino and Sterling against Salah and Trent. But that's where Liverpool have been so good this year, that they find a way to move a team around where they end up actually opening up those channels for Trent and Robbo to arrive at. And again, we'll see that in the second goal, how Liverpool actually managed to shift City all the way to this side and open up this channel
just
for
a
Robbo.
big dive.
Yeah.
We were talking about how City set up in almost like a 4-4-2 though, when they didn't have the ball. Yeah, and I felt like Liverpool again, they literally put every player behind the ball when City had control possession. Just happy for them to have it, try and catch them on the counter.
Yeah.
Let's go through some key moments in the game then, Jules. And just whilst the camera's rolling, I'll show you what we've been doing in the office. I'll just flick the camera around. We have the game on the big screen there, and we're going to actually recreate some moments and then talk about it. So, alright Jules, the first goal, I'll put a couple of screenshots up on there now. We'll just keep it short. For me, it's under 7 stuff, you got to play to the whistle, and I think there was even an opportunity where Aguero could have actually passed it back to Sterling, but he was more interested in shouting for the handball.
Yeah, like literally when he hit Trent's hand, it landed, but Aguero actually turned away from the ball and went straight to the referee.
Yeah, straight to the referee. I think Gundogan did the same.
Yeah.
Did you think it was a penalty, Jules?
It was a handball. The only reason it's not a penalty is because the bounce onto Trent came from Bernardo Silva's hand. So if it hadn't been, I believe it's 100% a pen.
At first, when I was watching it live, I was like, pen.
You're thinking VAR straight away, right?
Yeah, even when Fabinho rifled it in, what a goal, I was like, it's going to get disallowed, this, 100%. But as soon as I seen that it's come off Bernardo Silva's hand, I was like, you can't go from a hand to hand.
So no pen?
No pen for me.
Yeah,
and that
no
obviously
pen for me.
Guys, what do you think on YouTube? Let us know in the comment section. Was it a penalty? There's obviously a big talking point about handballs this year, and it's really hard. I think VAR has been frustrating me. I don't even want to get into that. If you want to know about VAR, head over to our podcast. We have a rant about it on there. But the first goal for me was obviously an unbelievable strike for Fabinho. Yeah. You can't take that away from him. Counter-attack goal. I think we've got a screenshot of it being 3v3. Yeah. You just can't leave that happening with Liverpool, especially with the front three. Yeah. But classic, big turning point in the game.
Yeah.
Because if City get that pen, it's a different game.
That's exactly right. Just the one thing that catches my attention from that goal is obviously the goal comes from a second ball that Fabinho wins. Now, for me, usually a Guardiola team is excellent at their recovery. Yeah. So they lose the ball, they recover quick. But obviously, you had 4 or 5 players: Aguero, Gundogan, Sterling, KDB, all arguing with the ref while Liverpool were attacking. Terrible clearance from Gundogan. But if you watch the screenshot, guys, that we're going to put up, there isn't a City player inside near Fabinho when he controls the ball and finishes. So City's recovery, terrible. Yeah. Liverpool's transition, excellent. Goal.
Terrible clearance from Gundogan, but what a strike. Alright, moving on to the second one. As we've just recreated that picture right there on the tactics board. So we're going to get in right close there, Jules.
Yep.
And we're just going to talk about what I believe is a massive turning point in the game. Liverpool go 2-0 up, and then it's a big ask for City then to score 3. Jules, so obviously you touch on that there. We obviously see on the screen Trent's on the ball.
Yep.
That's the setup. Sterling's closing him down. We've just put the ball slightly at the back as he's about to swing a diag, isn't he, with his left foot.
Well, let's touch on actually Liverpool's shape, because this is what we were talking about at the start about Liverpool's shape wasn't a 4-3-3 when they had the ball, just like City's shape wasn't a 4-3-3. So let's actually go through the players. The back 4, obviously Trent, Lovren, Van Dijk and Robbo here. Yeah. But this is where it gets interesting. So you would think this player here is actually Hendo. But Hendo is actually nice and wide, so he's like the right winger.
That's Hendo, yeah.
Yep, so that's what you were saying at the start about Hendo now doing that job, which allows this player, Salah, to actually become a striker.
On the inside, yeah.
Guys, who do you think this player is? Yeah. Bobby.
This is what he brings. This is what I mean, like, last season especially, Bobby got criticised a lot for not bringing goals to Liverpool.
That's something
I don't care. I don't care if he doesn't score. The fact that he drops in so deep, you can even see it there. He's just sitting on the halfway line. By him dropping so deep, it asks a question of Rodri. Do I go? Do I stay? Gundogan gets caught in two minds. And what happens there is Bernardo Silva has to naturally tuck in, because you have Gini Wijnaldum here, who's sort of in a pocket of space on his own, and like Jules mentioned at the start, Kevin De Bruyne and Aguero were pretty much playing side by side when Liverpool had the ball. So really, in my eyes, defensively, either Aguero or De Bruyne have got to drop in there.
Yeah.
And Bernardo Silva should be alert to what Trent does every single game.
I think,
which is that one there.
I think a key to that actually not happening, which you touched off camera, is that even though we know that his ability to swing the ball is unreal, how many times have you actually seen him do it on his left foot? I think that's the first time
I've seen him do a few. Yeah. Mate, he does loads. It's mainly with his right foot.
So I think there isn't a single City player at the moment with the ball being on this side of Trent thinking that he's going to do that.
Yeah, so
that's a big one.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Because let's just touch on Bernardo Silva. We took a screenshot of it. He's on the front foot. He thinks it's going there.
Because I actually think, if you think, obviously as coaches, Bernardo Silva is actually kind of where you would want him to be. He's half and half. Yeah. So we always talk about, if the ball's on one side, sacrifice the further side, and if he does go, you can get there. Yeah. And then he's also ready to come and press, which is bread and butter when it comes to City. They're ready to press. Yeah. So, but
he's not, for me,
he's in a terrible
he's
position.
In a good position, but I think he's in a bad position because he's playing against Liverpool.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
They used to play diagonal passes all the time. I would honestly rather, I think that would be Aguero, drop in there and just cover that, stop the diagonal, because they sort of come out the game. He thinks, Bernardo Silva thinks it's going there, because you can see, even when it plays.
Well, you can see
he runs through
in the screenshot. He's already going.
So then that they can't take anything away from the pass, because he not only does he play an unbelievable pass, but it's right into his feet.
Yeah, brilliant.
And then obviously Salah is already playing on the shoulder. Let's talk about Kyle Walker then. We had a discussion off camera. We think he's a bit too narrow.
Way too narrow.
Do you think his starting position should have been higher?
It's a tough one, because I'm a big believer that in defence you should always keep a +1, right? So if we have Angelino, the left back, on Hendo, they're actually set up okay in the sense that they have a 3v2. If Kyle Walker does these, you're actually leaving Salah and Mane 2v2 against two, with all due respect, slow players, Stones and Fernandinho. For me, the problem is that as the ball's travelling, he actually takes ages to switch his play over and come and press.
Because he has time to get out his feet and if you leave two players with the quality of Robbo and Trent with too much time and space, they will put a deadly cross in that's going to cost your team a goal. So for me, maybe starting point was good, just too slow maybe getting out there.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that, Jules. I like that. And I think, guys, we're talking Premier League. These fine little margins in terms of positional play it's key at the highest level. None of them are actually in a bad position. It's just maybe 1-2 seconds of the wrong decision, and it's cost them a goal. A lot of people, Jules, talking about it maybe being offside.
I don't want to get into it. I think it's.
For me, let's just chat on it quickly. Like VAR the week before, we're drawing mad crazy lines on a situation like this, and now on this one, it was like goal. I feel like it's just so inconsistent. That's coming from a Liverpool fan. It's obviously gone for us, which I'm obviously happy.
But that's the advantage that everyone should get. Like this strike, the margin mightn't be a centimetre. Like the same with Liverpool last week. The same we saw with Sheffield United this week as well, where they drew lines. So like you said, how can they draw lines in the Sheffield United against, was it Everton?
Yeah, not Tottenham.
No, Tottenham, but not in this one.
Yeah, and that one was ridiculous as well.
But for me, give the striker the advantage if it's marginal.
I think that's another talking point in itself. And then obviously half-time, 2-0 Jules. I just want to touch on what Klopp said, because I've seen the interview at the end. He said that they changed to a 4-4-1-1 at second half.
Who was playing where,
So he put Hendo on the right, just to try and stop them being dominant in possession, because he whipped in the cross for the third goal. because he was playing out and out 7.
Because when you say that, I think it's fair to say that besides those 2 moments of absolute quality from Liverpool attacking, Man City played well.
The first and second goal are the biggest moments in the game. The third goal was it was a very good cross from Hendo and a good header from Mane.
I think key to that is that it was 5 minutes into the second half, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
3-0.
And I think the game was dead there. But City, as they kept pushing, as soon as they got one back, I did think, because
City be dangerous. Yeah.
No, if there's any team that can score 4 or 5 goals like that, it's Man City. So you can never write them off. But I think for me, from a big Liverpool fan that's watched them for years now, their ability to see out a game now and just get the win is the best I've ever seen since I've been supporting Liverpool. They just know how to get the result now. They don't I feel like under the first couple of years of Klopp, it was like gung ho, let's get as many as we can.
Yeah.
Sometimes we win 6-0, but there'd be times where we would throw a game away. Whereas now I just feel like they're so professional in getting that result.
I think it's interesting. One thing as well is that I don't feel like they're as solid in defence as they were last year, but they're still managing to not concede many goals, if that makes sense. So
they've only conceded 1 in every game.
Yeah, so that's that ability to, I guess, maybe make last-ditch tackles or recover, or like that mentality that, you know what, no matter what, we're not going to concede.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway, for me, guys, I still think the title is going to be very close. I still think it's going to go down to how our game goes at the Etihad. That's a massive game. We got beat there last season.
Do you think both teams can go basically perfect record till then?
I want to say no, but they almost did it last year, so I just don't know. Liverpool obviously still unbeaten at the minute.
Yeah.
I do think, yeah. If you've seen Liverpool's record at Anfield,
yeah, it's unreal.
They're 47 games unbeaten at Anfield.
I think it's something like 300 days.
Do you know who's the closest to them? Juventus with 36.
Yeah, Juve.
That's some record though. Like Anfield is a fortress. I'm confident we could literally beat any team there on the day with the team we've got. That's us, guys. That's a new segment we're going to be doing, especially with big games. We're going to be doing a lot of tactical analysis, try and give you an insight to like how coaches work. Now, obviously, we probably don't know everything. Pep and Klopp are on a different level compared to us, but we'll try and give you an insight into what we think. We obviously watch the full game. Well, I do anyway if it's Liverpool. Let us know if you enjoy these videos. Let us know if you want us to do more. Also, let us know if you thought it was a penalty.
Big one.
And definitely, we'll hope to see you on the next video.
Thanks, guys.
Subscribe. See you later. Peace.